Welcome to this episode of Conversatio. I'm your pastor, Father Frassati.
And I'm Father Charles, the parochial vicar of St. Dominic Church.
And today we're going to discuss Bishop David Bonner's pastoral letter, Take Heart, Do Not Lose Heart, Behold the Sacred Heart. And this is the first installment of hopefully a few videos where we'll discuss this pastoral letter. Father Charles, why would a bishop write a pastoral letter?
Well, basically, a bishop is the shepherd, the vicar of Christ in his diocese. And so he would write a pastoral letter so as to communicate on particular questions, particular challenges, particular spiritual issues that are pertinent to the people of his diocese, and especially to do so in light of the gospel and what's going on in the universal church. So, for instance, in this pastoral letter on the Sacred Heart, well, the universal church is just wrapping up this year a jubilee period on the Sacred Heart, because this past June was the 350th anniversary of the revelations given to St. Margaret Mary Alacoque by Jesus, encouraging and promoting the devotion to his Sacred Heart.
You know, for Bishop Bonner to write this pastoral letter, it means that he is wanting to reach his flock a little bit more directly, because it's something that applies to all of us here in the Diocese of Youngstown. What does it actually mean to lose heart? What are the sort of movements of the heart that are afflicted in this particular vineyard in the United States? So, I think it's very timely that in preparing for the enthronement to the Sacred Heart in September, that we look through this pastoral letter and get a better read on what Bishop Bonner is wanting to communicate with his flock. So
yeah,
let's get in. Let's get into it. John 14:1 reads, "Do not let your heart be troubled. You have faith in God, have faith also in me." I think there's a particular reason why a lot of people feel drawn to this passage, and that is because when you're trying to come to terms with the death of somebody in a family, you're trying not to allow your doubts to kind of overcome the mercy of God that's present there in the funeral liturgy. But when we hear this, it's almost like an affirmation that we're not the first ones to be conflicted with a question that affects, for the most part, things that people can't see. We can have, kind of a shiny exterior, but that doesn't actually reflect what our heart is longing for.
Yeah, I mean, to speak about the possibility of having a troubled heart means that it's a real threat. That's something that's close at hand for all of us to have. Of course, in the context of a funeral, at the occasion of a death of a loved one, but also even more broadly speaking, we can think about like a cultural malaise of people who are depressed or anxious or just living with troubled hearts, which gets to the point of why would you have a pastoral letter that encourages the people of God in this diocese, all of us, to take heart and not to lose heart. It's that, okay, well, even if your heart is troubled at the moment, it need not be, because there is actually a solution. And of course, the solution is proposed in the Sacred Heart of Jesus. One other aspect of the letter that I really enjoyed was Bishop Bonner's commentary on the Sacred Heart in relation to artificial intelligence and certain cultural difficulties that we have.
Artificial intelligence is not going to be able to predict the movements of the heart. It's a very transactional relationship, and it's not actually going to give us anything that is going to be lasting. It's not going to help us to contemplate higher things.
Well, this, I think, is the key line. Bishop Bonner writes, "While we can certainly celebrate the accomplishments of technology, we can never allow these innovations to rob us of our hearts and the emotions and dreams that flow from it."
Technology is awesome. We're using an iPhone that can shoot in 4K, 60 frames per minute. We might even use artificial intelligence to help us edit this film. But that artificial intelligence is not the end-all and be-all, and it's not going to be what is going to fulfill what is lacking in the movements of our heart, which is always seeking Christ.
It really is beautiful and extremely spiritually profound and applicable to the interior life, to our pursuit of God, which we'll continue to talk about more on our next episode of Conversatio when we return to the letter of Bishop Bonner, the second half, and also speak about what it means to enthrone the Sacred Heart in your church and even more in your own heart. More next time.